Hello, my name is Peregrine, and I'd say it's very obvious to anyone that has, eyes, that the human versus Omnic issue in Overwatch is a thinly veiled allegory for racism or general xenophobia. However, I think an unappreciated side of this story is the different types of answers that Omnics had to solving race relations, with the three main Omnics in the centre of the story being Zenyatta, Ramattra and Mondata, all three of them having different answers to the solution in their own right. Ramattra has the most obvious and clear-cut answer to this, being complete segregation. Populism, as it were. Ram believes that peace with humans is completely impossible, that humans and Omnics are like oil and water which will eventually split up and become separate. At the current moment in time, it's hard to call what exactly Ram's main objectives are. He might be full on Mecha Hitler and will annihilate all of humanity, or he might just be trying to cause enough fear to rile up more Omnic phobia in other countries, so that Omnics join him and Null Sector to create the first Omnic state, an ethno-state as it were. Now, I know you know what I'm referencing, I'm not going to say it, but you know who and what country I'm talking about when I say this. I think Ram has the potential to be an allegory for that country, but I'm going to sit on that idea until it becomes more relevant. Ram's thought process is that you can't have any bad interactions if you don't interact at all, which is stupid because the modern world is completely reliant on diplomacy between races and open trade routes. Mondata and the Shambali monks, on the other hand, practice a more softer kind of cultural segregation. They establish the differences between man and Omnic, but ultimately do not shame Omnics who choose not to move there, and don't shame humanity by the actions of a small, bad minority of humans. Mondata in particular was somewhat of a diplomat between Omnics and humans, preferring slow and steady change in race relations, convincing humanity that Omnics are not dangerous, and that the racism towards them is 1, based on a false pretense, and 2, very much not appreciated. The logic of this type of race relation is that it's harder to have bad interactions if you interact on common ground, and adequate diplomacy between groups, but falls heavily into the ever-present trap of sectarianism, in which these people exist together, but still notably have their own traditions, areas, attitudes, rules, and laws. Although Zenyatta was a member of the Shambali and still considers himself a follower of Mondata, his ideology was different enough for him to leave the monastery and become a nomad, a word they shamelessly stole from the occult anime Megalobox 2 Nomad. Zenyatta travels the world, interacting with humans and Omnics alike, absorbing different lifestyles and customs while sharing his own, creating grassroots connections with everyone, seemingly in the hope of creating a pluralistic society between human and Omnic, where the distinction of blood and circuits is no more, and that he can live in a world where people aren't judged by the element of their skin, rather the content of their character. A great example of pluralism in action is the Muslim guy I went to school with who celebrated Christmas because, I quote, "fuck it, why not?" The logic of a pluralistic society is that you cannot have bad interactions between races if the concept of a race is just meaningless, which is something that I personally would like to strive for, even if it seems incredibly unlikely, which is kind of the main flaw of this worldview. Similar to how you look at an Omnic and recognise that's definitely a robot, you will always be able to see someone as a different race from you, and to be quite honest, not all customs from different places in the world can interlock seamlessly, but hey, what can I say? I'm a dreamer. Zen's a dreamer. Maybe we should all dare to dream just a little bit. But don't dream about falling, never dream about falling.
I dream of peace, and sometimes falling.
Okay, so thank you for watching this very short video on race relations in Overwatch. I have a poll out on my community tab at the moment. I would appreciate your impact and input, I suppose, on that. It's very much a controversial topic. I don't know how much I'm willing to go into it, so I'm kind of on making the video, but I'm going to go with what the community says, what little of a community I've managed to build so far. I'm not quite at 600 yet, but I'm going to get there soon, so thank you for 600 subscribers. Genuinely, I think the past few weeks have been very impactful for me. They've really helped with my mood, and thank you for the support, everyone. It means the world, and please go on and have a good day. Even if it feels like it's going to be a shit day, just stick to your guns. fake it till you make it. Slap a smile on that face for me. Other than that, I don't know. Go have a nice poo.